I'm Bobblick. I'm a hobbyist from Santa Rosa. Today I have a active crossover that I designed and a 4-channel power amplifier that I designed. And I'm doing a demonstration on loudspeaker intermodulation distortion. So we're able to play through the speakers and switch the crossover in and out, and you get to hear the speakers when they're going through the crossover, they're producing less intermodulation distortion, or when the crossover is bypassed and we're driving the speakers conventionally, and at that point we hear intermodulation distortion. And it's a test you can actually listen to, and most people can hear it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Larry Rickard from Kansas City, Missouri, and I brought a TubeLab SE2. This is TubeLab's second incarnation of the original TubeLab SE circuit. It's basically the same as it was when it originally came out 14 years ago. The only difference is a lot of the components have reached the end of their lives and they're not available anymore, so we redesigned the circuit to take advantage of the new components that were available. This particular model that I built incorporates a couple of unique features that I decided to put in. I got tired of messing around with a mouse-controlled volume control on my computer that I normally use as an input, so I decided to add a volume control, which is actually a motorized volume control operated by an Arduino circuit that I incorporated. Everything is American cherry or maple, figured maple as you see here. Aluminum, all the aluminum work was done by hand on a drill press. Overall, it's a very nice sounding circuit. Completely have enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite amplifiers. And I just wanted to say thanks to George at TubeLab for just doing an incredibly good job on this circuit. It's really great. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Bill Minotti. I am a lousy musician on DIY audio. And today I am exhibiting the speakers I brought, which are a pair of waveguide two-way BNC compression driver Phytol Pro 12-inch woofer with a crossover based on the design by Matt Grant, originally published on DIY Sound Group. I'm also exhibiting a Modulus 86 4-channel power amplifier, and it is being driven by a Neurochrome THAT driver preamp built by Skip Pack, who's exhibiting with me.
Hi, my name is Anthony Delgado, or Tony the Wrench for short. I'm from the Chico Audiophile Club, and we brought a pretty killer system down here this year. The parts I had a piece in was the building of these ultralinear power amps. I found one in Paradise. Paradise just burned to the ground, but I got this amp out before that happened. I found another one on eBay, and I rebuilt them. They have a really cool tertiary feedback winding in the output transformer. They were Herb Keyrose's flagship work, and if you know who that is, they're pretty good. The other thing that I built is these tube preamps. They use a RIAA phono stage out of a Scott design. It's all hand-wired, point-to-point, cannot be replicated by a computer. That's a challenge. And I'm building them for the members of the Chico Audiophile Club. The one on top there has a moving coil step-up transformer. All the inputs are on relays. It shorts the inputs to ground when they're not being used, and it sounds pretty spectacular with an old turntable. I'm having a good time seeing everybody's stuff, so I hope everybody else is too. Welcome.
I'm Mark Johnson. I'm exhibiting a few things here at Burning Amp. We've got a power amp made of 3886 chip amps. This one is the Bob Cordell Super Gain clone, which includes inverting mode for lower common mode distortion. It includes his clever clipper circuit, which pre-clips the waveform so that the power amp actually never clips, and it's got a DC servo. Then I've got a smaller version of that that gets rid of everything but the power amp. It's just literally half of the PC board. So it's smaller and faster, easier to put together, maybe more suited for people who are in a hurry who are beginners. Then I've got 3 headphone amplifiers. This one's called Roho. It's a composite amp. It's got an amplifier followed by an amplifier. The output amplifier is a discrete op amp. and it runs at 100 milliamps Class A bias, which is plenty enough to drive most headphones. This one is called Noir. It's also a headphone amplifier. Its feature is that I got to use up some old chips out of my box. These are LH0033 hybrid circuits. This is back when you could get better performance by putting individual discrete transistors on a ceramic die and wire bonding them. It's actually from the year 1971. And I brought the data sheet, including the dates on it, so that you can verify that if you want. And finally, there's a headphone amp called Noir. Noir's feature is that it's extremely simple, extremely easy to build. It's only got 2 transistors, so the entire box contains 4 transistors. This one's actually on the DIY Audio store. You can buy it, and I bought that board from the store and assembled it just to verify that, yes, it works and that beginners can do it.
Okay, my name is Kerry Chen. I represent the Bottlehead Corporation. Today I am showing a single-ended EL84 amplifier, which puts out 4 watts per channel. It's hooked up to a Bottlehead battery-powered preamp. Over here, I have a headphone system. This is a Bottlehead 6 amp, 2.1, with all the upgrades and a set of headphones. My speakers are a pair of EPI 100s from 1978. Thank you.
I'm Damien Ellison, and I brought a Mod 86 amplifier designed by Tom Christensen of Neurochrome. Uses the 3886 chip amps, and it's a amplifier that uses another chip to kind of control distortion, so it's extremely low distortion. Also brought the Continuum loudspeakers designed by Jeff Bagby. They use a Aurum Cantus 5 1/4 inch and a now discontinued Dayton 28 millimeter tweeter, aluminum tweeter. And then these funky subwoofers here are the low end. They're crossed at about 150 hertz to the Continuums here.
So I'm Brian Levin. My online handle is LinuxWorks, and my company is Circona Audio. Today I'm showing a project I designed a few years ago. It's a DIY preamp. It's a 2311 PGA Burr Brown analog controlled, digitally controlled analog preamp. It has an optical rotary encoder, a very smooth volume control, can go in half dB steps, and it has an RF remote control. So this is an Arduino. Both of these are Arduino control. When I turn it on, it senses the current value, and I can use the up and down buttons to move in 4 dB steps, or I can use the right and left buttons to move in 1 dB steps. You'll notice that when I press this, the display updates, and also when I turn the knob, the display updates. So they both stay in sync. Now I can change inputs and outputs as well. The rear has some LEDs. I don't know if you can see the LEDs. There's an LED there, and there's one on the board itself. If I go to input selection, I can change the inputs, and over here the LED updates to show the current input. So from the back panel, you can actually tell the current active input and outputs. And the front panel basically just displays the volume control in half dB steps. So the RF remote control, the RF receiver for it, and it has multiple inputs, multiple outputs, can be updated via software over USB. The Arduino would connect in there. So let me show you what the rear looks like. We have USB for programming the Arduino for firmware updates. That can also be used for wired remote control. We have a couple of inputs, a DAC input, 2 analog inputs, an output, and then we have a front output. The front output is using a TI phones amp chip, a pretty good one, but it's really just a complementary free phones output. If you really need something production quality, I would use, like my friend designed, the M3. That's a phones amp by T-Con, AMB amps. So I'm sending the line out into the phones and then to some hi-fi man. just for a source, a FiO F3, I think it is. So that's basically what I'm showing. It's a preamp that is open source. You can modify things. The schematic is available online. At some point, I do plan on producing boards, but this PCB does need to go through a couple of more iterations before it's done. Thank you.
My name is John Lanza. I'm a hobbyist here. What I brought is line arrays composed of tenoid dual concentrics. I don't think anybody else is doing that. And let me tell you, they are wonderful for old ears.
Hello, hi, my name is T. Khan. I'm with AMB Laboratories. Today I brought some gear. These are all my design, and so let's start with this. This is a Gamma 3 DAC. It's got two chassis. One is a power supply, one is the DAC itself. This is a high resolution DAC supporting 24 bits, 192K sample rate. It has various digital inputs, including USB, SPDIF, coax, optical toslink, and it also has coax and toslink outputs, as well as balanced and unbalanced analog outputs. This display is what I call the LC Duino. It's operated with a remote control. It shows various status, including volume control, volume, the sampling rate, and all kinds of other things. Everything's controlled through a remote. The only thing that's on the front panel is the volume and the power knob. The DAC itself is completely digitally isolated. There's galvanic isolation of all the inputs, so it prevents ground loops and various other kinds of interference. And so this DAC is also acting as a preamp that drives the power amp. This is a Beta 24 power amp. The power amp is fully differential, so both speaker leads are actively driven, and the Gamma 3 has fully differential outputs, so it drives the power amp fully differentially all the way through to the speaker terminals. The power amp has MOSFET output stage, the BJT VOS stage, and JFET inputs. It's fully complementary, fully differential, and fully balanced. Class AB puts out about 175 watts per channel into 8 ohms. And it's very low distortion, very high damping factor, very wide bandwidth. Frequency response all the way up to 1.4 megahertz. DC coupled down to 0 hertz. And for source, we've got an Oppo universal player, and I also have a computer as a source through USB into the DAC. So this is the system that we're playing. We have speakers that are built by my friend Bob. Those are made by CAS. The drivers are made by CAS. We haven't hooked it up yet, but I also have a couple other pieces on display here. This is the MB Alpha 10 preamp. The preamp is unusual in the sense that the volume control and the input and output selectors are all relay operated through a precision resistors. And this, again, the front panel has a similar control as the DAC, and there's a volume control on the front. When you turn the volume knob, the audio doesn't go through it. It's just a valuation device into the processor, and the processor operates the relays to actually attenuate the signals. These are precision resistors, so the tracking is very good, and the channel separation is very good. The line stage itself are these Alpha 20 stages. They're fully complementary JFET, BJT designs, and there's a regulated power supply for that. And the final piece that I have here is a commercial, professional piece of gear. It's a Behringer DCX 2496, which is a DSP loudspeaker management system. As they come from the factory, they have a sort of a lackluster analog section. So what I've designed is a complete replacement analog board inside, that green board that changes the entire circuit to fully differential, much lower noise than the original. So that's that. I also made a couple other modifications to it to make it truly high performance. And that's about it.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Craig Allison. I'm here with Ike Linkwitz, representing the legacy speaker works of the great Siegfried Linkwitz, a legendary engineer whom we all miss personally as well. I've been close with Siegfried and his wife for 34 years and have a significant understanding of his technologies. Siegfried does not want you to hear the speakers. He wants the speakers to disappear and paint the precise picture of the music. And the models we're showing here today, which are the LX Sirius, both in black and white, are excellent examples of his brilliance and ingenuity. Siegfried is among the most respected audio engineers ever. He was very close worldwide with people like Laurie Fincham from KEF and other true pioneers of improving loudspeakers. He was also a very human individual, had a wide range of tastes in music, very diverse. But his loudspeakers have always been available for people who want to hear a truthful sound, not an editorial on the music as so many loudspeakers today are. And today we're, as I say, showing the Sirius LX. This is actually a 3-driver system. We're using it with an associated LX subwoofer. So actually there will be a total of 6 drive units playing when we play the music, but none of them call any attention to themselves. The speakers do literally get completely out of the way. And as well, Siegfried championed the elimination of the sound of the box. There is no cupped hands or marring of vocal sounds coming out of these loudspeakers. Wide dynamic range is also available. These will fill a medium-sized room quite well. And it's absolutely a complete pleasure to be here demonstrating these things today and carrying on Siegfried's work and Siegfried's message. Thank you very much.